Are you thinking about relocating to the greater Sacramento area? If so, this video is for you because I'm going to share the neighborhoods surrounding the Sacramento area. And this is coming from someone who's lived here for 40 plus years. I'm going to cover areas such as Rancho Cordova, Fair Oaks, Orangevale, Folsom, Dorado Hills, and then we'll head north into Granite Bay, Rocklin, and Roseville. I made a separate video regarding areas and neighborhoods very close to downtown Sacramento. So I'll leave a link below for that in case you guys haven't seen that just yet. So I don't want to waste our time. Let's begin. And again, I grew up here since the first grade, went away to college to UC Santa Cruz, but I've lived here for 40 plus years. In any case, here's Sacramento, which is basically equidistant from Lake Tahoe, about 2 hours away. And of course, the San Francisco Bay Area, about an hour and a half to 2 hours away as well. And heading south, we're very close, about 2.5, about 3 hours away from Santa Cruz, and of course the Monterey Bay Area as well. So what I want to do is zoom in. And again, I made videos regarding areas very close to Sacramento and areas within Sacramento. But of course, I'm going to be talking about some other suburbs here. Let's look at Rancho Cordova to start, and we'll head east and then north to Roseville and Rocklin. So the Rancho Cordova area is a giant area. Much of the area north of Highway 50, which is right here. By the way, the major freeways in Sacramento are Highway 50, Highway 80, and of course, I-5 and Highway 99. And here's downtown Sacramento. We're only about 15 minutes east of downtown Sacramento when looking at Rancho Cordova. So on average, the lot sizes here are a little bit smaller compared to other areas. On average, we're around 0.15 acre. If you want a acre lot property and have a lot of privacy, this may not be the area for you, especially if you're looking to buy a brand new house in the Anatolio area as well. A lot of smaller lot sizes, but of course, brand new houses. So I'm gonna break this down by the north side of Highway 50 and of course the south side. The south side, for the large part, is newer houses and of course, brand new home construction. The north side is an older community, starting building that neighborhood in the 1950s. On the north side of Highway 50, which encompasses the older region or older area of Rancho Cordova, that is on the north side of Highway 50, which also borders the American River Parkway. If you guys have been following my channel, I talk about the American River Parkway, which runs from downtown Sacramento, or I should say old Sacramento, through all the way until we hit Folsom Lake, about 32 miles. So American River is right there. So it covers that on the northern end of the border. On the eastern edge is Sunrise Boulevard, which is one of the few bridges that crosses over the American River. So something to be and keep in mind here is that if you work in downtown Sacramento and you work a regular, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 job, you're going to encounter a lot of traffic on these bridges. That is Watt Avenue, Sunrise, and Hazel. And this is a pretty wide area. So a minimal amount of bridges that cross over the American River. So it can get really backed up for people who are leaving work and moving eastward to Rancho Cordova, Fair Oaks, Orangevale, etc. It can get really backed up on the freeways when crossing over on Sunrise and Hazel. So something to keep in mind. The newer section, of Rancho Cordova is Gold River. It is just east of Rancho Cordova, which is right there. Let me just zoom out. More or less the northeastern section of Rancho Cordova. Those houses were built starting around the 1980s through the 1990s. Of course, there's some more newer houses there, but in general, they're built in the 80s and 90s. Something that a lot of people are not aware of is that Gold River, the assigned high school is Rio Americano, which is approximately 10 to 15 minutes west of Gold River. I actually went to Rio Americano High School myself, but it's a fantastic high school. If you go to greatschools.org, it's ranked around 8 out of 10 stars, which is located in Sacramento in the 95864 zip code. So this is kind of unique to Gold River. That is one of those communities here that is still serviced by that high school. A city just north of Gold River on the other side of the American River is Fair Oaks. I love Fair Oaks. How I describe Fair Oaks is it's a little bit older, just like the northern side of Rancho Cordova. On average, you're looking at houses built in the 50s to the 80s, but a lot of houses built around that era. Also, it's a little bit hilly as well. So if you like hilly terrain, views of the American River and American River Parkway, and oak trees. This is a great community, which can be a really good alternative to Granite Bay, for example, a lot more affordable than Granite Bay. The one thing to keep in mind regarding Fair Oaks, though, is that there's not a lot of development there because it's mostly built out. So if you're looking for a brand new house, Fair Oaks probably is not going to be a good option. There are some spec homes. In other words, someone buys a house, they knock it down, or they purchase land and build a house. You see that, but you don't see these large developments like you see in Roseville, Elk Grove, and Folsom Ranch as well. In any case, Fair Oaks, though, is a good alternative to the American River Corridor, for example, in 95864 in Sacramento, because you can get a lot more for your money because you're a little bit further from downtown Sacramento, amongst other things. Now, if we zoom in, again, right here is Gold River. If we go over Sunrise Boulevard, which is a bridge over the American River, if we look at the older part of Fair Oaks, which is called Fair Oaks Village, a really quaint little area, only a few blocks long, but a really good area if you guys want to walk around, grab a bite to eat, and also kind of enjoy the surrounding area. It is going through some renovation regarding this park. It is known for having wild chickens running around and roosters there. But here's what the old town or the old Fair Oaks kind of looks like. A lot of shops and restaurants to have a look at. One of my favorite restaurants in the Fair Oaks Village is actually the Sunflower Drive-In. Fantastic restaurant, very popular as well. Also, another favorite spot of mine in that area is a Fair Oaks Bridge. Let me just pull that up. A kind of red-looking bridge. And also, of course, you see a lot of geese and ducks in that area. And here's a look at that bridge. You can walk over it or bike over it and get to the American River Parkway and the American River Bike Trail, which is on the other side of, or the south side of that bridge, which takes you to, Folsom or Old Sacramento. This, by the way, is a great view of Sacramento and also the surrounding trees and the American River as well. Going back to this map, if we were to head a little bit east and north, you hit Orangevale, which is a little bit similar area to Fair Oaks, for example. On average, the lot size is around 1/3 of an acre. You can get to properties that have horse properties. So if you enjoy having horses, you can buy property there and have your horse in your backyard. But larger lot sizes compared to Fair Oaks, and of course, closer to Sacramento as well. The average year built here is around the 1970s, but of course you can have newer houses and of course houses built in 1950s as well. As we head a little bit east of that, though, is Folsom, a giant area as well, which more or less borders White Rock. Here's Highway 50, and also the American River, and of course Folsom Lake to the north as well. Just east of Folsom is Dorado Hills, and just north is Granite Bay. So the best way to describe Folsom is that I would basically kind of split it in twos, which would be the north side of Highway 50 and the south side. The south side of Highway 50 is a giant community being built called Folsom Ranch, Russell Ranch, a lot of little communities there, but a giant community being built there. But I first want to we'll talk about that, but I want to talk about the north side of Folsom. A lot of this area was built out in the 1990s. When I was in high school, my buddy and I used to go four-wheeling in these communities before they built houses there. But this, again, on the north side is the end of the American River Parkway, but also it is actually the end of the Sacramento Rapid Transit as well, which is our public shuttle, if you want to call it, subway, which runs from downtown Folsom all the way until downtown Sacramento. Some of the things that Folsom is popular for or known for is the bike trails that run through the communities. There's a lot of bike trails in this community or this area. So it's really biker friendly, but also there's other bike groups there as well if you're into mountain biking or road biking as well. So there's a lot of bike trails, and I would say beauty and nature beauty as well, because you have the Folsom Lake, which is very popular for swimming, boating, fishing, etc. Folsom is also known for historic Folsom, which is kind of like the old Sacramento version in the area. Let me just look at Sutter Street, which is a main street that runs through historic Folsom. A lot of different shops here, and they have a ton of events, especially in the summer. They have farmers markets. They have a concert series called the Twilight Concert Series, which runs from June through August each and every year. And they have outdoor concerts there. And of course, they have Christmas events, Halloween events, a lot of kid events, very family friendly. And of course, driving down Sutter Street, there's a ton of restaurants, bars, and shops here as well. For anyone who's watching today's video who enjoys the great outdoors, Folsom is kind of like a mecca for that. They have, if you guys are interested in mountain biking, trail running, triathlons, for example, Total Body Fitness. If you have a look at totalbodyfitness.com, they run a ton of events. Much of those are actually located in Folsom at Folsom Lake. A lot of good events there. I've done a ton of their triathlons. They do a fantastic job. Not a paid promotion, but I really love all the events they do. And also, of course, a lot of bike groups as well. So the main organized bike group is called Cycle Folsom. If you guys want to check that out, if you're into mountain biking, but especially road biking in the area. A couple more things that Folsom is widely known for is Lake Natoma, which is just downriver, if you want to call it that, from the Folsom Dam, which is right here. I mean, Folsom Lake is ginormous. Here's Granite Bay, and of course, here's Dorado Hills. But Folsom Dam is right here, and the runoff from that is Lake Natoma, which runs which becomes, I should say, the American River. But Lake Natoma is a really good lake that people swim in, but the water is cold because it comes from the bottom of Folsom Lake. They also have stand-up paddleboards and kayak rentals as well, which is really fun in the summer. Okay, that's the northern end of Folsom, kind of like the older part of Folsom. But again, you have a lot of houses built in the 90s. Let's talk about the newer development called Folsom Ranch, Russell Ranch. There's a lot of communities here, but the Folsom Master Plan area just south of Highway 50, a massive development. They started building houses around 2018 through 2019. But there still is a ton of home building going on there. They have planned for around 11,000 houses to be built in this wide, big area, which borders Highway 50, the border of Sacramento County and El Dorado County to the east, and White Rock Road to the south, and Prairie City Road to the west. A huge area, again, around 3,500 acres, and around 2,500 of those are going to be developed. They're also going to be building one high school, one middle school, and 5 additional elementary schools in this area. The really cool thing about this location is that you can either select a lot and then you pick all the fit and finishes in the house, and the home builder built your house in approximately 6 to 12 months. So you can buy a brand new house, or you can buy one in which the homeowner bought it new and they're reselling it, because again, this has been building over the past 5 years or so. But this is a long-term plan. They're going to be building this area over the next 20 plus years. And again, around 11,000 houses they're going to be built here. If I go to a satellite view, you can really see how big this development is and all the new developments they're building right now. Here's East Bidwell, and Prairie City is on the western edge here. But you have areas like in Toll Brothers Regency at Folsom Ranch, which is a 55 plus development for people over that age. And of course, you have Russell Ranch. All the big builders are here. You have Tri-Point Homes, Toll Brothers, KB, Taylor Morrison, etc. And by the way, this dotted line is the border of Sacramento County and El Dorado County. So they're basically building right up until El Dorado County. So kind of blending Folsom and El Dorado Hills. Speaking of El Dorado Hills, let's talk about that. And let's look at another way, the default here, a little bit easier to view this. El Dorado Hills, absolutely love El Dorado Hills. I actually used to live there for about 3 years. So really loved living here. This is more or less the start of the foothills. Folsom is a little bit hilly as well, but El Dorado Hills, I mean, talk about some giant hills. Really good workout if you do some road biking. But what I really loved about El Dorado Hills is that the schools are ranked very highly. A really good resource I use is greatschools.org. Looking at that at Folsom, El Dorado Hills, Granite Bay, for example, a lot of the schools are rated over 8 out of 10 stars. So the schools are ranked very high in El Dorado Hills. So the way El Dorado Hills is situated is the south side and of course the north side of Highway 50. On the south side of Highway 50, you have the El Dorado Hills Town Center, which has a lot of shops and restaurants there. And of course, they also have a summer concert series there as well, just like Folsom does. That is in this area right here. As we cross over Highway 50, close to Latrobe and El Dorado Hills Boulevard, that again is the main artery which runs north and south through El Dorado Hills. There has been a ton of home building going on the south side of this section, which used to be just all grassland just a few years ago. But most of the houses have been built out. So if you guys do any research regarding El Dorado Hills, you probably know about Serrano Parkway. Serrano has a golf course, a lot of newer developments there as well. When I say newer, I say this is really built out in the early 2000s versus brand new houses that were built yesterday. Not a lot of development going on in El Dorado, especially compared to Folsom, Elk Grove, Rancho Cordova, etc. By the way, one of my favorite parks is Cathia Park on the western side of El Dorado Hills. I mean, look at these views, absolutely insane. They have soccer practices there, soccer games, and they also have a great playground if you have kids like me. Excuse me. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I would love to take them there. Absolutely beautiful park to take the family to. As we move from El Dorado Hills and we head a little bit north and west, you hit Granite Bay. And the border of that on the eastern side is Folsom Lake and the American River, really. A couple of things that come to mind when I think about Granite Bay is great schools. When you look at greatschools.com, a lot of the schools there are ranked 8 to 10 out of 10 stars. So you have that, and also nature, because there's a lot of native oak trees and granite rocks, which is why they got the name Granite Bay, and also because of Folsom Lake. But a lot of granite rocks, rock formations, oak trees, beautiful area there as well. They're also known for luxury properties as well. Homes here, and I'm filming this video in January of 2025, homes start at around $500,000. A little bit hard to find a house in the $500,000 range, but houses can be as expensive as $5 million or more for a 10,000 square foot home on 2 to 3 acres. Some massive properties and luxury properties in Granite Bay. This is home to one of the most expensive houses have sold in the greater Sacramento region. Something to keep in mind though, if you're looking to live or move to Granite Bay, is you want to have a look at the proximity to the freeways though. So if you commute every single day to, let's just say downtown Sacramento, Folsom for example, then you have to travel over a lot of service streets. So if you live over here on the eastern side and you want to commute to Roseville, Rocklin, downtown Sacramento, you have to cross over a lot of street lights. So your commute can be fairly long because of all these service streets you have to go over. Another downside of Granite Bay is that the electricity provider is PG&E, which is approximately 40 to about 45% more expensive than SMUD, or the Sacramento Municipal Utility District. SMUD covers Sacramento County, but Granite Bay is the first city that actually is in Placer County, just after Orangevale. So because it's in Placer County, it is serviced by PG&E, which again is a little bit more expensive regarding energy consumption. This is why a lot of people in Granite Bay and Rocklin, for example, have solar panels on their houses to kind of mitigate electricity costs. Something you guys should be aware of as well is that a lot of Granite Bay has mostly been built out. A lot of houses been built in the 1970s through early 2000s, but for the most part, there's not a lot of developments here. Not any new development, not any large developments like you see in Folsom Ranch, for example. So most of this has been built out, which is kind of nice. You don't have like areas that has massive construction projects and 1,000 houses being built. You don't see that in Granite Bay. You can see some spec houses in which a investor, a person, knocked down a house or bought a dirt lot and built this, amazing house. You do see that, but you don't see like these massive developments like you do in other areas. What I actually love about Granite Bay is not only the beauty of the area, I mean, it's absolutely stunning, is that a lot of the lot sizes are quite a bit bigger compared to the surrounding areas like I've been talking about. I mean, Folsom Ranch, for example, a lot of the lot sizes are very, very small, and which is very common for a brand new home development for a major community. But in Granite Bay, the average lot size is around a half an acre to about 3/4 of an acre. So you can get to a property that has a lot of privacy and a lot of land to build on or to enjoy the space for entertaining purposes, for example. As we move a little bit west and north, you hit Rocklin and Roseville. I want to talk about Roseville first, which is one of the biggest cities in the region, and it's massive. I mean, absolutely massive. The last time we looked at, there's 160,000 residents that live in Roseville compared to just over 20,000 that live in Granite Bay. So a massive area, and of course, a much bigger city compared to Folsom, Citrus Heights, Orangevale, etc. It is absolutely massive as well regarding development, especially on the western side of Roseville. Let me just zoom out a little bit here. So here is the Sacramento airport, and Roseville spans all the way up here. Massive developments going on there. If you guys are interested in buying a brand new house, you have West Park, Blue Oaks, which is an older part of Roseville. Not as old as like the old Roseville, which is right about right here. But of course, you have Wood Creek and the Galleria as well. The Galleria is the major shopping center that services the region in Sacramento. Now, going back to the population of Roseville, again, around 160,000 residents. That is the number 3 largest city in the Sacramento region. The number 1 spot, of course, is Sacramento. We have about 550,000 people or residents that live here. And of course, Elk Grove is the second biggest city at 180,000. So Roseville is the 3rd biggest city in the Sacramento region at around 160,000 residents. In regards to school rankings in Roseville, it can vary quite a bit. You can have a school ranked at 3 out of 10 stars, maybe even 2 out of 10 stars, or you can have schools that are ranked about 8 to about 7 stars out of 10. And this again is according to greatschools.org. Just like Granite Bay, something to keep in mind as well is that if you live on the far western edge of Roseville and you have to commute to, downtown Roseville, Rocklin, Sacramento, for example, you probably will have to travel through many service streets in order to get there. So many street lights in order to get to Highway 65, which runs from Highway 80 to Lincoln, or to get to Highway 80 going down to downtown Sacramento. So you can have a lot of traffic and a lot of drive time until you get to a highway to get to your work. All right, let's move on and talk about Rocklin, the last city I want to cover in today's video. If you guys are still watching today's video, I appreciate it so much. Hope you guys are getting a lot of value. And of course, if you are, please hit the like button. Also consider subscribing as well. Of course, I'm a realtor here in Sacramento, which covers the greater Sacramento area with my team. So if you guys are interested in learning more about Sacramento, of course, you can watch my videos here. I also have a second YouTube channel talking about national trends, which has around 100,000 subscribers. And of course, if you guys are interested in buying or selling in the greater Sacramento area, you can email me at jason@meetjasonwalter.com. With that said, let's talk about Rocklin, California, just east of Roseville, which more or less is bordered with, I can see there's a little bit differences here though. It borders really Highway 65, which again runs from Highway 80 to Lincoln, and also on the south side, more or less Highway 80. Something that's different in Rocklin compared to Roseville, a couple things. On the far western edge of Roseville, it is dead flat. There's hardly any trees because there's a lot of new developments going on there, and it was previously just kind of grasslands. In Rocklin, though, it is very hilly, so which means you can have fantastic views of green belts, the Sierra Nevadas to the east, or on a clear day, or the Sacramento Valley to the west. So a lot of views that you can get in Rocklin, which for the most part you can't get in Roseville, for example. Another thing that's very different in Rocklin compared to Roseville is that for the most part, Rocklin has been built out. There's not a whole lot of developments in Rocklin anymore. A lot of Rocklin and Roseville as well, and of course Dorado Hills, was built out in the early 2000s. There is Whitney Ranch. They are still building houses in Whitney Ranch, but the opportunities a little bit less right now compared to years past. Something that Rocklin is very well known for as well is highly ranked school as well. Highly ranked schools in the range of around 8, about 10 out of 10 stars in Rocklin. If you're interested into moving to Rocklin, on average, lot sizes around 1/4 of an acre, and also houses start around the 1990s. But again, much of the houses are built in the early 2000s in Rocklin. With that said, please reach out if you have any questions about the greater Sacramento area. Again, this is coming from someone who has lived here for 40 plus years. And of course, I've been a realtor for 10 plus years as well. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of today's video. And of course, please email me at jason@meetjasonwalter.com if you're looking to make a move here. We'd love to help you. Have an amazing day. I appreciate it so much, and we'll see you next video.